and of course political juggernauts in the calculation and permutation of politics in the states. These are people that identified with somehow at a point in time Amala politics, which the likes of Adedibo was the proponent. And of course, these are sons of what apparently appears as Adedibo. And if you look at some of the things that the late Christopher Alawa Akala had said, he said there are two people he respects in politics in Nigeria. That is Ladoja and Lamidi, late Lamidi Adedibo. And now today we talk about him because of the vacuum that many Oyo residents have believed that he has left behind, given the fact that he is saying that it might be difficult to have somebody enter into the shoes of the late Alao Akala. Let's also look at Ogbomosho, his hometown, where he comes from. Also, it's been heard that it could be very difficult, especially under his political party, to assign another leadership that will muzzle the kind of power he has in Ogbomosho. But to look at this man, Alao Akala, as he has passed on, and of course some of the things that we need to know about him this morning, is Comrade Omololu Ejidiro. Of course, as a public affairs analyst. It's great to have you here, sir.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, Mamako.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Looking at this journey of Alao Akala as a politician in the state, we know that he's tested so much waters when it comes to political parties, having membership of political parties. And we also know how strong his voice is when it comes to politics, especially in Oyo State and even Nigeria. His name rings bell, and we know his popularity. Now, his demise, what has it cost the state itself and even Nigeria?
It was a shock to me when the news broke out. I was in my room when someone called me that, comrade, are you aware that the former governor has passed away? I was not pleased with that news. I quickly interrupted the person that you should not spread fake news. I have to go and check the group I belong to as an analyst. That was where I noticed the news that Dr. Christopher Alawakala has passed away. I was so sad. I dropped a message on the group. What the message was, I said, how is death has done this to Alawakala this time? I said, death, where is your victory? Oh grief, where is the victory? After I dropped the message, I betrayed my emotion. I noticed that tear was coming from my eyes. In my room, I alone, no one was with me. I summoned courage. I said, well, that's life. The demise of Alawakala came as a sudden event. Because Alawakala watched Nigerian match, Nigeria versus Egypt. I didn't, although there was no news that he was being rushed out for any medical attention, to the best of my knowledge.
From reports, he died in his room.
Yes. He was at Olubadan funeral preparation. He visited them. And to the best of my knowledge, once again, he was hale and hearty to my judgment from the public view. And I don't just coordinate myself when the news came out that Alawakala has gone. And later, I have to interact with my colleague, the lawyer, the public affairs analyst, the technocrat in your state. Do you notice any form of ailment or strong, sickness that this man is nursing? Although some of them raise some opinion, but it's not to the extent that the situation will claim his life sudden like that. And he has come and he has passed away. I raised a question to myself that what would you remember me also for? Even yesterday when I was looking at hundreds of visitors who was paying condolence visits to his house. I couldn't bear it again. I was just watching that You see how life is so brief? We didn't expect that a man of Alawakala can pass away. Now, the role, you raised a very good point when Alawakala admitted that the only two people he acknowledged as his leader, Chief Rashid Adewolu Ladoja and Chief Aribia Adedibu, Lamidi Adedibu. Of course, he has the perfect understanding because he interacted with them, he related with them, and you understand because what Alawakala became in politics in your state here was as a result of the influence of Baba Adedibu and Rashid Ladoja, and he expressed gratitude to them and he welcomed them as his own leader. And even APC presently now, the vacuum is so large that it will, because it's playing very vital roles, most especially the role is playing with Oyo Central Senatorial Senator Senator Teslim Folarin. They were so close and they are rubbing some political game together, but the death came sudden. I know that it will be like a fatal blow to Senator Teslim Folarin, just like this is to me also.
And why Teslim Folarin? Why do you think this is a major blow for him?
Of course, with the best of my knowledge, Senator Folarin is nursing an ambition to pick the governorship ticket in APC, which has a constitutional right, and you have to play some permutation with gladiators in politics. If you are aiming a ticket of that magnitude, you have to romance with former governor in your party, technocrats in your party, and to the best manner also, Senator Teslim Folarin and late Dr. Christopher Alawakala, they were once in PDP. They have a better relationship, although there was a kind of misunderstanding when they were together, but that one is human to her, and probably before they could reach an agreement, okay, they will have forgiven each other, because there is no permanent friend in politics and no permanent enemy in politics. That is the reason why I say it should be like a fatal blow based on the agenda, based on the program that Teslim Folarin had before him, and he rely on the experience and the advice from late Alawakala.
But if you look at the life and times of Alawakala, many people have said so many different things about this man. And of course, his era, in a way, came about in such a way that it was also taking another dimension, given the fact that we had late Ajimobi, also spending 210 in what appears to be the first history of the state itself. And there are peculiarities with these ex-governors. You have him as Oyato governor.
ATM governor.
Exactly. And of course you also have Ajimobi at that time, Kosheleri. When you have instances like this and look at the kind of footprints like the likes of Alawakala had left behind, looking at this footprint, is it what the states can build on in terms of politics?
You cannot but to have some shortcoming in the footprint. Also, there are excellent records in the footprint.
What are the shortcomings?
Okay. You wanted to look at the shortcoming first?
Before looking at some of the excellent works.
One of the shortcomings was that the transport union in your state, okay, they demonstrated gangsterism.
Under the leadership of Alao Akala.
Let's be sincere with Asmamako. I cannot be Nigerians, I cannot sit down here. Although I shed tears when Alao Akala died. But during this tenure, the National Union in your state demonstrated gangsterism. Gangsterism, thuggery. I was not pleased with. An incident that happened at Iwo Road, I cannot forget how life were wasted. How students who are innocent, who are traveling to the institution of learning, met their untimely deaths. And they have a free day. I don't feel convenient when I see an administration that don't have value, or where life becomes so cheap. That is one of the reasons I don't seem to imbibe the administration of President Buhari also. When an administration that life becomes so cheap, people die as if, I can't even say chicken. Chicken has some value. People die just cheaply like that. And it has almost become, people are attributing gangsterism, thuggery to become the hallmark of PDP in your state then. But I beg to disagree with them, because it wasn't the peculiarity or feature of PDP until the engineer Seyi Makinde came in and proved that assertion, that claim, that gangsterism, thuggery is not a peculiarity of PDP. Now, the transport union, I will still keep on mentioning that, okay, they have a free day whereby the resident of Ibadan, majorly, okay, can no longer sleep with their two eyes closed. And we shouted then that why? It's as if these transporters has become a very potent tools in the hands of politicians then. And I was not pleased with that. Secondly, because I'm not comfortable about the question you raised, that I should look at the shortcoming, but I was definitely treat. I have to confess to you, I'm not comfortable. I'm so slow like this. Secondly, some project in your state, can I say project? I would definitely do that. After that, I'm not comfortable with the question you raised. Some projects during that Alawa Kala administration did not last long. Some contractors, did a very bad work, and we raised our noise as one of the stakeholders. Excellency, so and so road constructed was not completed. The one that was completed has becoming defaced again. Now, but the Excellency, the former governor, did not take any meaningful step to check the corruption or lack of expertise in all these contractors. Although there are massive structure, but did not stand the test of time. How do you spend the resources of the state in such a reckless manner? Because the resource of the state is not the resource of the governor. The resources belong to the entire state, and the state is bigger than the governor. I know you will agree with me, because the state even is bigger than the government. One government will go, another government will come. The state produce the government. Let me use that word. That was one of the aspects I don't appreciate, of which you call the shortcoming. Let me stop there. There are others.
All right, let's now look at the achievements now. What are some of the excellent work that he did?
Number one, thank you so much. Alawa Kala was a man that was so close to the electorate. The people are so close to him. It was accessible. It was accessible to everyone in the state. Alawa Kala was so confident that whenever he's traveling on the road, he could alight, come down, and notice whoever he has interaction with. And people are able to even touch him and feel him. One. Secondly, in the welfare of workers in your state, I give Alawa Kala some pass mark in the welfareism of workers in your state. Apart from that, Alao Akala was a man that able to manage political gladiator. I mean, political bigwigs. Though because it was not a smart job, it was not an easy task to manage political strikers. I mean, the word strikers. He was so sincere that his administration, he used them, and they were not disappointed, because once you are a governor, you serve three arms: the people, the electorate, the civil servant, and the politician. He played a very excellent role in the aspect of politician. He related with them very excellently. Apart from that, the media houses in your state experienced a turnaround, especially also Mopo. Mopo took a new look. It's and Lautech, although he bought some medical facility machine, strong one, but they were not able to install it. But there is no way you will write the story about Lautech, you will not mention. It will be an injustice if you want to rule out the contribution of Alao Akala administration. Alao Akala also, in the aspect of Lautech, Alao Akala did all things possible. He tried every possible means to make Lautech independence become the institution that belonged to your state alone. Although he couldn't achieve it, of which Engineer Seyi Makinde has done that, or which Chief Niyi Akintola referred to him that he has done what Napoleon cannot do. Now that's Engineer Seyi Makinde administration. And Alao Akala has done in some aspects. He has done, even at that time, the economic condition for your state. I mean, people are living an averagely a better life. That's why people give me an appellation, automated teller machine, because he spends. Although he does not spend recklessly, but because whoever has encounter with Alao Akala cannot leave his presence with his face squeezed, cannot live with his presence with his sad mood. That's what I can say about it.
All right. I was actually also going to look at the fact that he had a robust relationship with his superior then in office, that's Ladoja. There was this relationship between them until we had Alao Akala also spearheading the impeachment process of Ladoja as at then.
Alao Akala spearheading his impeachment process?
That's what is there. That's the news, that he was part of those who ensured that his superior in office was actually pushed out. And now in 2015 thereabout, there are also reports of how much more the People's Democratic Party was preparing for elections, and of course you have Ladoja in a court party. And now because of the strength that Ladoja has actually muzzled within the Accord Party, of course the likes of Olusegun Obasanjo tried to have a meeting with him, and he also kind of, became a reality upon the late Alao Akala now, to say, let me strengthen relationship with my superior. So he swallowed his pride and decided to say, let's work together. And he sent the likes of Oyelade, Mr. Dr. Oyelade, to go ahead of him to pacify Ladoja as at then. Now, to build that relationship, in spite of the fact that there are skepticism between him and that of Alao Akala. He's being skeptical whether this is real or not. This skepticism is there. Now, if you look at that instance alone, would you say that the kind of political leadership that the late Alao Akala led in the country, as at then or in Oyo State, was one that was in the process of progress and, of course, unison of what we saw between him and Ladoja?
Let me first clear one thing, Mama Ko. Thank God that Chief Rashid Ladoja has come out that he did not nurse any grudge. Alao Akala did not owe any blame in his impeachment. Okay? The power that be there were the brain behind the impeachment of Senator Rashid Ladoja. On to the fact that Senator Rashid Ladoja fail to abide or fail to dance to the body language, to the rules of the game of his so-called political godfather, Chief Adedibu, Lamidi Adedibu. And to that effect, Adedibu then couldn't have succeeded in his that atrocious movement, let me call it then, atrocious game, if not for the backing of the federal government under Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. I'm so sure, so confident there. It was during there that they were Lamidi Adedibu was looking for the way to carry out civilian coup. Let me use that word, civilian coup, due to the fact that he's not longer having a cordial relationship with Rasheed Ladoja. I look for whoever, where it could happen anyway, that could make his achievement, his program achievable. He sent for late Alao Akala that this is the agenda on the ground. Are you interested? This is what I have. This is what the Hospital has been doing. He negotiated, and I can tell you it happens anywhere in the world, but it is not good. But in politics, that is why I'm trying to distance myself to some extent from politics. He negotiated. It's about negotiation. Are you interested? When I answer yes, this is the plan. We definitely, and they told Alao Akala, we definitely succeed in removing this man. Let the ball keep rolling. Now, Alao Akala came to the game without the knowledge of Rasheed Ladoja, because as of the time the impeachment was carried out, former governor Senator Rasheed was still giving a call, was calling him, Bayo, where are you? Bayo, where are you? Not knowing that late Alao Akala is already in the camp of the enemy. Not my enemy, the enemy was Senator Rasheed. Now, I don't see the reason why anybody should throw stone or castigate or criticize or lambast Alao Akala. It happened anyway. And before this thing happened, I was privileged to relate with one of the pro-Ladoja lawmakers that live in my area, that when the news was coming to them in the House of Assembly day, that pro-Ladoja lawmaker approached Senator Rasheed Ladoja and Oga, something is coming up, it's cropping up, that we should act fast. And all this appealing, all this plead, requests that they should act fast, did not form the good side of Senator Rasheed Ladoja. That you want me to begin to dance to the tunes of those one that at the time I leave office, the anti-corruption agents will begin to run after me. Do you get my point now? Until the final night. Now, how did they secure the federal government support? Because Senator Rasheed Ladoja maintained a standard he cannot support the third-term agenda of ex-president Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. That was spelled doom for that was the ground at which Chief Adedibu and former President Olusegun reached an agreement to remove Senator Rasheed Ladoja from office. It was a different thing entirely. Now, after that, the Alao Akala defected to Labour Party, if I remember. Now, also, Senator Ladoja also formed this party, Accord, and they have to negotiate. Before then, there was something that was coming up that Ajimobi was then in ACN, and we are looking for the way, because to form a merger with Accord or to form a merger with ACN. They played the permutation, and Alawakala extended the hand of fellowship, spirit of sponsorship, to Senator Rasheed Ladoja, of which, if I'm the shoe also, I will not.
Skeptical.
I was skeptical. Yeah, of course, you are right, because once beaten,
twice shy.
Mm-hmm.
So in that instance, when you look at this kind of development now, would we say that the era of godfatherism is over in the country itself? Because we talked about the likes of late Lamidi Adedibu. Now we're talking about Alawo Akala, who is also a godfather, whether we like it or not.
Of course.
The number of people here in your state.
Yes.
And now, would we say gradually that aspect of godfatherism is dying out naturally?
I will not completely condemn godfatherism. It is the ideology behind it that we condemn. We should be able to differentiate. There's nowhere in the world that do have godfatherism, not only in politics, in every profession.
Is that not a difference between godfatherism and mentor? When you say, this is my political mentor, this is my godfather.
Oh, listen to that.
Are they the same thing?
Oh, to me, let me address the point. I will come back to your question. The ideology is what I will condemn. There are some godfathers that the ideology is so mature. Look at the godfatherism being played by Senator Rasheed Ladoja to Engineer Seyi Makinde. Excellent. Now, it is the ideology that I will not subscribe to, the ideology of imposition, ideology of take it or grab it all, ideology of gastarism, ideology of rubbishing the intelligence of a God's son. That's the ideology I will condemn. There are some people who play godfatherism, and they play it very excellently, and they allow their God's son to run the administration peacefully. I can mention them. Senator Ashoda is like a godfather to Engineer Seyi Makinde, but look at the way he plays excellently. Now, I don't want us to demoralize the matter of godfatherism. Back to your question, mentorship. Mentorship is different from godfatherism. They don't hardly want to use the word mentorship in politics, although they use it at times. They prefer to use the word godfatherism.
So they are the same.
That, but in the different terrain. You don't, and at time also we have mentorship in politics, but politicians will prefer to choose the word godfatherism. Mentorship cut across every field, every areas of human endeavor. There's no way you can become mature without a mentor. But take it, Marco, it is not all the ideology of your mentor that you can imbibe. I have a mentor right now. One of my mentors is late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I interact with him through media. I listen to all his interviews. I read his books. He's no longer alive, but I interact with him. But it's not all the ideology of Martin Luther King I imbibe. It was those ones that are excellent to me, that form within the one that can be used for me, I grab. That's mentorship. And mentorship is not autocratic. At times, godfatherism could become autocratic. Take it like that. Mentorship is not dictatorial, autocratic, totalitarian, no, not at all. Okay? Mentorship, you observe at times, you may not be privileged to meet your mentor. You may be meeting him through the books, through the interview granted to him. I interact with Barrister Femi Falana through the interview they granted to him. I listened to his arguments. Yesterday night on my bed, I was listening to the argument, the Oputa panel. I was cross-examining some people in a very intelligent way. Now I interact. Now I've not met Chief Femi Falana before, but I interact with him. I study the spirit, the psychology behind. That is mentorship. You may be here right now. Your mentor may not know you, but yet you are following him or her every day. But godfatherism, you must have a physical contact with your godfather or godmother, so to say.
All right. So, what is the thing that we are leaving with this morning concerning the man Alao Akala?
Number one, the politicians should know that power belongs to the people. That when you are in office, when you are in political office, public office, you should not distance yourself from the electorate. You should be able to relate with them. You should have some courage and confidence that they cannot do you anything bad, since you are serving them, you are their servant. Alao Akala was like that. I'm raising that point because some time ago at Ojo here in Ibadan, Alao Akala came down from his car and was having a nice time with women on the road. Although some people may want to make mockery of that is trying to play populism, what they call it. But if he play populism with the people that give him vote, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's one. Two, you should give respect for those who produce you. Don't look down at anyone. Alao Akala still respect till his death Senator Rasheed Ladoja and late Aribi Lamidi Adedibu. Respect your mentor, respect your godfatherism. And thirdly, there is no leaders. Your leadership is a failure without a successor.
All right, on that note, we must say a big thank you to Comrade Omololu Ejidiran for your time on the program this morning. Of course, he's a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Thank you so much,
Of course, that's the much we can take with this interview segment. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll have another guest and another topic. Please stay with us.